That's why I'm sharing these stories. And a lot of them are very personal. And one I'm about to tell you guys, I have never talked about with anyone. Okay, so to catch you up, for those of you who haven't seen the first part, I recommend you go back and see that. But for those of you who did watch that, here we go. So now that I had lived in upstate New York, we moved to Colorado, which Colorado is a beautiful place. If you haven't been there, I love Colorado. I am a mountain girl. The mountains are spectacular. The skies are never bluer. It's such a wonderful place. When we get to Colorado, I'm 9 years old, and I start in 3rd grade. I definitely had a sense that I didn't fit in. And this begins my journey with hair. That's when I found out that apparently my hair didn't do anything. This is me when I was 10. You can see my hair. It's kind of in like a ponytail. It's just, I was chemically straightening my hair. That's what my mom did. That was what the acceptable thing was to do in the 80s. I was regularly told by kids, well, your hair doesn't do anything. Or, why doesn't your hair do anything? Your hair doesn't do anything. Why does your hair just sit there? What's wrong with your hair? Your hair is so stiff. Your hair is crispy. It looks like fire. When I used to go swimming a lot, we had a pool, and my hair would turn reddish in the summertime. I go to school in the fall, and so thus the comment about your hair looks like fire, which now I think is actually kind of a cool thing. Like, that's pretty cool, but back then it was like, your hair is ugly and it doesn't do anything. I'm like, looking back, was my hair supposed to have a job and like a wife and kids and like be out there? Like, what was my hair supposed to be doing? Well, every kid that took the opportunity to share their disdain for my hair told me, your hair is supposed to be like our hair. And I would see it in the commercials, bouncing and behaving.
My hair's so clean it bounces, so manageable it behaves. I love it. New Pert. No matter how often you use it, you get bouncing and behaving hair.
Long and silky and wavy hair, smooth. Your hair, Jody, is coarse. That's how they would refer to black hair. And still to this day, I felt such shame and such disdain and sadness about my hair that didn't do anything, as I was told, and was so ugly and just sat there and looked like fire that I really didn't like my hair at all. And so I would go home and maybe in the evening after dinner, I would open my dresser drawer and I pull out this box of ribbons. And I had all these kind of, barrettes and hair ribbons and all kinds of stuff. And back then I had these really long ribbons. And I would tie them to parts of my hair. I would just sporadically, and I would tie these long ribbons, like maybe 10 or 12 of them, just all over, so that the ribbons would fall gently down my shoulders and be in my face just a little bit, just like the white girl's hair at school. And I would walk around and I would flip my hair, which was ribbons, and I'd just be like, oh, my hair's always in my face, and push it behind my ears, just like all the white girls did. And I felt beautiful. I felt pretty. I had long, luxurious, flowing hair, which was just ribbons. And I look back at that little girl and I think, my God, if I ever saw my little 18-month-old daughter doing that, my heart would shatter. Because my hair was beautiful. My hair was beautiful in its own way for what it was. But I couldn't see that because whether I looked at television or whether I was at school or any kid activities, everything was about long, silky, or wavy, bouncing and behaving Caucasian hair. And I didn't have that. And I remember there was this song right around 6th grade, and it was by this band called Peaches and Herb, and it was called Reunited. Maybe you guys remember it if you're, you were around at that time. And I think she had these long braids, like individual braids that are even really popular right now. And I thought, I want to get those braids, because then it'll be like I have long hair and I can flip them around and I can put them in a ponytail and I can fit in with everybody else. And I got braids and they made fun of me. Those are ugly. Why do you have all those braids? Where's your hair? Why does it look like that? And they used extensions because my hair was probably about this long, and they used extensions to make them longer. So they added hair into my own hair. Well, how did your hair get so long? And so I went from being questioned about my hair to being questioned even more about my hair. And before it was your hair doesn't do anything, and now it's your hair is ugly, it's gross, you have these weird braids, ew. And they used to sit behind me, and I remember these girls would just pick at them and be like, huh. And I used to try to sit on the edge of the group. They called it like large group, where all the kids would sit on the floor and kind of look up at the teacher. And I would try to sit on the edge so that no one could be behind me and do anything to my hair. So it wasn't good when it was straight, chemically straightened, and it wasn't good when it was braided. And then when Michael Jackson's Thriller was so huge, Ola Ray, who was the girl in the Thriller video, who was stunningly beautiful. Like, I just thought she was one of the most beautiful Black women I'd ever seen, next to my mom. I could, because every girl thinks her mom is the most beautiful. And I thought, I want to get hair like that. And that was called a jerry curl. And they would like give you a perm basically, but it was different than white people. When you would get the perm, your hair would just be kind of a bit frizzy or just be like poof, unless you put in these two creams. One was called an activator, and the other was just a cream. I can't remember what it was called. And you would spray it, be like skuk, 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 and so that your hair would be wet basically. And you put in the cream, and that would activate the curls. So I had the curls just like Ola Ray, and I'm excited. It's like shiny and pretty. And I go to school, and the kids are like, ew, you have a jerry curl, like, and they would make fun of it. They're like, your hair is always wet, and it's slimy. I remember by the time I got into 7th grade, I was taking the school bus to school, and there were these boys that would sit in the back and just laugh at all the different girls. And I sat like close to the back because there was a couple of friends that I had. And these boys would gleek on the girls, which, in case you don't know what that is, it's like where you do this thing, I can't do it, but it would be like you go like this, and like your salivary glands would shoot out like really clear streams of spit, and it would be like pew, pew, pew. And they would gleek on us. And so in order for me to not get gleeked on, I would sit with my head and my back against the bus window so that they're right here and I could see them. They wouldn't do it if we saw them. They would only do it if we couldn't see them. And so I could look over here and make sure they weren't gleeking and still talk to my friends who was the seat, in front of me or across from me. And one day I had been leaning against the window with my jerry curl, and it left a big smear on the bus window in the shape of my head with almost the little squiggles and curls. And they're like, oh, look at Jodi's hair. Like, it's so greasy. She's got a jerry curl. Oh. And I never sat with my back so close to that window ever again. I still sat with my back to the window, but I made sure that my hair did not touch that window. So you see, no matter what I did, when I had my own natural hair, society said, you should straighten it. So we chemically straightened my hair. And then when that wasn't good because my hair didn't do anything and it was ugly and it was coarse and it looked like fire, I thought, let me get braids. And then that was ugly too. I remember a kid called me Medusa. Medusa. Ugly. You're ugly and you look like Medusa. And then when I have this jerry curl, that's ugly too. So no matter what I did with my hair, it was always ugly. No matter what. And so by the time I got to high school, I just had it. I just did what I could. I got rid of the jerry curl. I got rid of the braids. I just straightened it to the best of my ability, used the curling iron, and did what I could. And they still picked on it, and they still called me ugly. What was I to do? And then extensions came. They started to become popular, where you could get hair extensions, but not popular enough that you could talk about them. So it was like a secret. So I got these hair extensions over the summer. People were like, oh my gosh, your hair looks amazing. For the first time in my life, the other kids said that my hair looked good. How did your hair get so long? I was like, oh, I just grew it out over the summer. So the more Caucasian my hair looked, the more silky and bouncing and behaving and shiny, the more acceptable I was, the more beautiful I was, the more attractive I was. None of that should have mattered. And I'm so thankful that today there are so many different styles that Black women can wear, that you can do all kinds of things with your hair. Twists and braids and fro and whatever. Or wigs or extensions. And you know what's interesting? People ask me about my hair, and I don't answer those questions anymore. Because I've been answering questions about my hair since 3rd grade. I don't. This is my hair. I like it. It looks good. Done. So when people ask, is that your real hair? Is that your real color? Is that a wig? Is that extensions? Decades of answering questions. As well-intentioned as many people may be, it has always been about my hair. And I'm over it. I'm over it. I think it's important to understand when it comes to race, it isn't just about the racist stuff, like you're fired for being Black. Sometimes the crappy stuff is the stuff that people don't label as having anything to do with race unless you sort of put it all together, like hair. There's a whole documentary done about Black hair by Chris Rock, which I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It really dives deep into Black women's hair and what we go through. Because I've been through so much, it doesn't hurt the same. I don't care what people say about me with regard to race. Am I immune to pain and insecurity? Absolutely not. But because I've been through so much with race, and there's more, which is coming up in part 3, that's the shooting that I alluded to in part 1, people are going to be racist or they're not. People are going to be, they're going to prejudge or they're not. I don't have any control of that. All I have control of is what I do. I guess I want to end this particular episode with saying, as hard as all of that stuff was, as difficult as elementary school, middle school, high school was, I don't know that I would change it. Because I know I wouldn't be sitting here doing this if none of that had happened. It made me stronger. What is it they say? What doesn't break you makes you stronger. Sometimes I'm like, I'm strong enough already. I don't need this anymore. But I have experiences that are uniquely mine. And of course, experiences that I can share with anyone or any female of any race. But in this particular case, I'm stronger because I went through those things. I'm going to be a better mother to my Black daughter because I went through these things. They sucked. But I am a better person because of it. So Thank you guys again for tuning in to this particular episode. I really would like to take a moment and ask you to please like this just down below and subscribe and hit that notification button. This is my passion. This means the world to me. Like, I'm all in on this. I watch a ton of YouTube, and a lot of times I'm like, why do they keep asking us to like and subscribe? We get it. I know the like button is there. I know the subscribe button is there, and the notification bell is there. Stop asking me. But then a study came out that said if you don't ask, people don't do it. If you don't ask, you won't receive. So I am humbly asking you subscribe to this channel and you click like and hit the notification bell and leave me a comment. Questions, comments, thoughts, whatever. I want to grow this channel and I want to continue on with this. So your support means everything. That will help me grow the show and have more time to do this kind of stuff. I'm not always going to be here in my little studio. I'm going to take you guys with me on my travels, things I'm going to be doing. I have so much to share. And it's not just about race. I want to be clear about that. That's this particular series. So in part 3, I'm going to finish everything that happened in high school and then some stuff that happened in my 20s and then kind of wrap it up with my final thoughts on all of the questions that white people ask me about being Black. And then after that, as I told you, I'm going to share some stuff about being on reality TV, how you can be on reality TV, and the amazing experience that it was to be on Big Brother, as well as the not so amazing parts of being on Big Brother. So stay with me. I'm super excited to keep doing this. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Don't forget to tune in every Thursday. I'll be here. That's it.